Running a little late this morning.
Oh, it's okay. Here.
I love you. Kiss,
You
kiss.
Have fun, Johnny. See you later.
Oh, it feels so good out here this morning. It's in the 60s. It's so refreshing. Good morning, Ruby. Yeah, it's 6:42 a.m. We need to get a move on it. So far, so good this morning, but it is 7:07 and we haven't hit downtown yet. It's not in the 60s out there, it's 58 out there. Like I said, it felt nice and cool this morning. Well, it's 7:17 as we enter downtown. That's enough time to make it across town, but Johnny's gonna have to hustle this morning. And there's a Model 3. I must be seeing 10 Teslas a day now. Too many to report on exactly every single one that crosses Ruby's path. It's awesome. Ruby's shadow always looks so intimidating in the mornings when it's long and big like that. It might as well be a semi, right? The Wi-Fi hasn't been so good over at the church, so I'm going to try to find another place downtown with some Pokestops to pull over. There's the original Raleigh Capitol building. Yeah, I'm pulled up over here by the old Capitol building. The meters start at 8 a.m. and it's only 7:33, so I've got a few minutes. There's the old Capitol. I'm around on the other side of it now. I think I got a pretty good time lapse while I was sitting there in that parking space next to the original historic Capitol building. I went ahead and signed up for passport parking while I waited, installed the app, put in all the information. So if we were to need to park downtown, I would be able to pay for parking and get us on our way pretty quick, I think. I moved out of that space right around 8 a.m. when parking fees would start to apply, and I'm close to the house now. Headed home to get Dawn on the road for C4EE, the Center for Energy Education. That's the solar farm up near Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. They are having one of their, I'm going to say they probably do this a couple of times a year, biannual events where they invite kids over as part of a school field trip, as well as industry people and other folks that would like to tour the solar farm to, you know, learn about renewable energy, solar in particular, and expose the kids to some technology. And there'll be lots of vendors there today. I think they're feeding the kids. They had someone out cooking hamburgers and hot dogs last time. They love to have Ruby do the light show to dance for the kids. The kids are always really interested in that. So this year it just happened to be on a Thursday, and it happened to be later in the day. I think before it was you know, started at like 10 in the morning or something and ended at 2 in the afternoon. And Dawn and I left a little early last time, and I got back to the school to pick him up and/or for robotics. But this time it's a little later in the day and I can't make it. So I'm sure Don is going to do a great job. I doubt he'll have a lot of time to take much video because there's going to be like 150 kids circling about, and he's going to be, you know, showing the car and talking to a lot of folks. But I am sending the old vlogging camera with him with a empty SD card and a brand new battery, and I'm sure he'll get a few clips. I drove Ruby this morning. She's currently got 221 miles worth of range. He is going to have to charge, I believe, at some point today at the Rocky Mount Supercharger. Probably on the way. I think he's going to leave in time to stop on the way. Because when he leaves up there, he's probably going to just head to the house. But anyway, that's kind of exciting. I just, you know, I love doing robotics with the kids, but I hate having to miss the trip to the solar farm and spending a day with Don doing something that I love doing, which is showing the car. But it's really good of him that he was willing to go by himself and talk to all those kids and make everybody happy up at the solar farm. I'm sure it'll be a good day. It's a pretty day out there. It's cool. He won't be baking in the sun. We tried to get him a good night's sleep last night, so that's good. I'm going to be driving the van. That's one of the reasons why I cleaned it up the other night. You know, it did sprinkle on it, but it never poured here in Fuquay, and it's much better than it was, which is good. So I'll be driving that to downtown Raleigh this afternoon, do robotics, and then be coming back home. I got home too late last night to take Johnny to Taekwondo. That was all on me, and not a big deal though, but we will definitely be going tonight. So the car does a really good job with navigation and helping you find superchargers on your route, but it still doesn't have waypoints, which is why we have things like EV trip planner and a better route planner. And sometimes we do spend 5 or 10 minutes on the computer before we head out just to make sure we're good. So what's the deal? Do you need to charge before the solar farm or on the way home, or do you have a choice, or what's the deal, Donnie?
Right. Well, I have a choice, and really it's easy should be no problem to go from here to the solar farm and then back to the Rocky Mount Supercharger. From here to the solar farm is about 110 miles, according to Google. And then from the solar farm to the Rocky Mount Supercharger is like 44 miles. So basically, according to Google, it's the total is 149 miles from here to the Energy Center back to the Supercharger, 149 miles. So
and Ruby's got 212, I think I heard.
Yeah, something like that, over 200. So
that's plenty cushion on a non-very cold, non-very hot day, I think, for sure.
So since it says it's going to take almost 2 hours to get there. It's 1 hour and 52 minutes to get there from here. They want us there at noon. So I'm basically fixing to get up and change and pretty much go. So unless something unusual happens, because the weather's nice, we're really very close to the sweet spot. I may not even have to run the air conditioning today.
Right. It's really not. The watt hours per mile ought to be great today.
Ought to be great today.
Yeah, it ought to be 200 something, especially. So,
right. So really, I knew that was probably it, but like Marianne said, the kind of the little issue that Tesla still has with the trip planner is it doesn't do waypoints. So if you're, the kind of trips we do kind of go star out from Raleigh versus
you'd put in the solar farm and it'd show your arrival percentage, and then when you got there you could put in the Rocky Mount Supercharger, and it would tell you if you had enough to get back there or not, but it wouldn't tell you that whole trip without you looking it up online someplace else.
It doesn't understand how to do that. In other words, you can, if you're going to a destination, it will show you several superchargers along the way. But we're actually going to a destination and then coming back.
Right. Well, if we were coming back, I suppose when I got in the driveway, I could have put in C4EE, and it would have told me whether we had enough to make it all the way back home at 5% or not. Right. We could have done that, and that would have given us... But we've done this before. We kind of know that a quick charge at Rocky Mount is a good idea.
Right, and since I'm always running a little late, it's better to charge on the way home than the way up. And plus, she'll be lower on charge, so she'll charge quicker.
Right, exactly. He's leaving without me.
Yipper, we're going. We're going places.
I told him just come back safe.
Right. Well, that's all on Ruby.
Yeah, I hear ya.
I be autopilot pretty much all the way there.
Right, but I sent him some unsweetened tea on ice to drink on the drive home. So a little bit of caffeine. Yeah.
Took good care of me. She gave me my stuff.
We both get sleepy in the afternoon.
Right.
All right, Donnie, I love you.
I love you too. Kiss, kiss.
Kiss, kiss. Don decided he'd go ahead and put the unicycle in the frunk. Take the little stand with him this time so he can
take it out of the front.
Yeah, because people can't really appreciate the front when the unicycle's taking up half the space.
Yeah. But it does fit in there really nice.
And because it's kids, you have to go get your helmet. Don says he's gonna detail her when he gets there. She's really not bad off at all. I said, maybe it's not Elon worthy, but yeah, I'd probably let Elon drive Ruby in the condition she's in. She's fairly clean. Told him he didn't have to pretend to be me with the vlogging camera, but he needed to up his game over what he would have taken if he was just there by himself. Those were my instructions. Hey Tux, we're on our own for a while. Don made it up to the solar farm, no problems. I can see Ruby in the app up there at the airport. It's the old airport. It's not used for that anymore. That's where the solar panels are, out on the runway area. Anyway, she's all opened up and I'm sure he's having a good time up there. The weather is so nice here today. Thankfully, it's, you know, not one of those 90-degree hot and humid days that he's standing out in the sun. I did a little house cleaning. Yeah, you know, Don's brother's coming the end of next week, and we've got some people coming into the house over the weekend. So, you know, I just needed it to be in shape. And I built one of the robots. One of them was just a brick and loose parts, so that the boys will have one ready to go. As much as I would love for them to try to figure out how to mount the 2 large servo motors and then add the rest, today's just not the day for that. I hung my Halloween window clings, so I feel like I've got to start on Halloween decorating. Yay! And got my lesson plan ready, so I literally haven't slowed up a beat since Don walked out the door, but I've made, you know, pretty good use of my time. But I am getting ready to drive up to the school in the van. You know, I haven't looked at the gas gauge lately, but I think, you know, it's only been a couple weeks and I haven't driven that far, but I probably should glance at it when I get in the car and make sure I've got plenty to get up there and then back to Fuquay. Otherwise, I'll put some gas in an easy location on the way. Sheets on the way that's on the right side of the street. But I think I'm okay. God, I don't like having to worry about that. Black cat, bat, and pumpkins. Cute new black cat, ghost and tombstones. I added pumpkins next to this black cat, which was already there, and then more ghosts and bats. Hello there. What are you guys eating? Are you eating stuff maybe you shouldn't be eating? The one is just a baby, no spots left, but definitely still a baby. Hi. Yes, yes. Don'd like it if you would eat grass. Could you eat some of the grass? Huh? Could you eat some of the grass? How many more of your friends are over here? The temperature's up to 72 out there. Really enjoying the clean windshield on the van and this beautiful sky out there this afternoon.
So what? One out of 9, which means
Went pretty good today. How'd Beta Club go?
It went well.
Were you just doing the hurricane release stuff, or we start working on something else too?
Still doing hurricane relief, and we're just planning. We're still planning other fundraisers we could do.
Okay, cool. So we're headed west into the sun. It looks like Don is still up at the solar farm. They had some industry people coming in to give presentations, so hopefully he got to go to some of them and enjoy too. I can't wait to hear about it when he gets home. You performing Tux relocation services for me?
Yes. Luckily, he's pretty easy to pick up.
Yeah. We got home. We got the robot stuff unloaded. We did all of our chores, fed cats and, you know, normal afternoon unpack lunch boxes and stuff. I cooked Johnny and I a quick steak and some broccoli, which I overcooked. It doesn't always turn out right. Oh God, Johnny, on top of shutting the garage doors, I need the keys to the Odyssey. Go get me the keys. I have a pickup at Walmart, and after the piece of steak I had, which really wasn't more than 4 ounces, but when you're not eating a lot, it seemed like a lot. I could use a walk, and it feels so good out here. Don arrived at the Rocky Mount Supercharger at 1% due to a 13-mile detour. He was scheduled to arrive at 5%, and he had to miss his exit and go down and come back around, but he made it, and he got enough charge to get to the house, and he should be home pretty shortly. So I'll have an update from him in a little while. What's that Batman saying? Holy Toledo? Batman? I don't remember. But anyway, look. But like it's still a pre-facelift, but it's here. So they put out a few, like haven't filled it, but hey, I'll take the Model S. I will. Wow, there's 2 of those blue Model S's, and look at this solar panel car too. It's called Solar Reflex. Looks like a Camaro to me from the front. I've never seen anything like that, and I think those are so cool. Well, I went to use the tower to get my pickup, and the tower is down, so I can't pick it up today. They said, oh, just come back tomorrow, no problem. And I'm like, well, I really want the item, and I came tonight because I had time to come tonight. I don't want to have to come back tomorrow.
Well, I'm here. It's a big crowd already. So I kind of carved me out a parking place here for Ruby, kind of close to the back entrance. I'm gonna go on and detail her up real quick and get her clean. There is quite a crowd here. The difference this time is there's not, there certainly are school kids here, but there's more than just that this time. And as I said, I was surprised. It started at 11 for the opening ceremonies, but they're fixing to break for lunch here, and it's going to get, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of visitors. We've already had a half a dozen. Now here comes my favorite part. Hey, what do you think, huh? No real range anxiety. Gonna get to Rocky Mount with 5%. And we've got 43 miles of range left and it says it's 21 miles. Uh-oh, Houston, we have a problem. We have 17 miles. We're down in the red. And we got 12 miles to go to the supercharger. The exit to Rocky Mount was closed. The state troopers were there, lights flashing, big old directional flashing arrows, everything. I have to go to the next exit and turn around, as you can see. Houston, we're going to arrive with like 5 miles of range. I'm not too anxious, but I think all these vehicles in front of me, motorhome and all those cars, they're all going to go up here and make the left, which is what Ruby's telling me to do. And they're all going to get back on 95 northbound because all these cars wanted to exit back there at Rocky Mount like me, but the exit, like I said, was closed. Honest to God, if I'd have known, I would have went the other direction towards Raleigh, then turned around, because it's over 6 miles to the next exit down I-95 and 6 miles back. As you can see, these people are kind of dancing around here trying to figure out what to do. I actually made this mistake one time with Ruby because I didn't have Navigate on Autopilot on, so I know what it's like to come down here, that there wasn't an exit right up the street. So we'll see. I'm not concerned. It says we'll get there at 2%. Again, Ruby's battery is very well balanced, so I'm not worried. But again, see this little PT Cruiser thing, he's making the same turn that I'm making. Basically, I did not think to look across the interstate to see if the other side was closed. God knows if it is, I'm going to stop and talk to somebody and said, look, I got like 3 miles of range here, bud. You're going to have to let me go off at this exit. So we'll see when I get up there. I'll pick back up and video some more. So we've got 10 miles of range, and it's 6.8 miles to the supercharger. So we'll see how this works out. Traffic on this side, northbound, is much heavier than on the southbound side. It wasn't quite so bad, but this little heavier over here. Ruby has not told me to slow down to reach my destination or anything like that. The fact that I'm so close, I think the computer is extremely accurate at this point, that it knows that I'm going to make it. And as I do, I'm really not concerned. It was just, it was one of those oh crap moments when you go to get off an exit and there's state troopers there, flashing lights and all that kind of stuff. It makes you wonder what's going on. So that was one of those things that you unanticipated. Like I said, we'll see here, and it's 3.2 miles to the exit for Rocky Mount. But the key thing is, this is one of those things where you exit and then you drive along this access road for a while, and then you actually go to your exit. So this is one of those things that they give you one shot and it's multiple exits. And of course, I didn't realize this when I was on the other side going the other direction. So we'll see at this point what's going on. If you look, it looks like a lot of red traffic up there. I suspect there's some kind of an accident or something of that nature up there at that I-95 US 64 interchange. So I suspect that's what was going on there, and that's why they changed it. Like I said, I didn't see anything other than the state troopers and the flashing lights and the traffic cones that were put up to block the exit. So that was, as I said, was a little unexpected. Okay, here's the Rocky Mount exit. Ruby's taking it. She did just fine on that, obviously. I'm gonna try to get the picture of what's going on the other side over there. I don't know if it'll be clear or not, but you could see the, might be hard to see, you can see the flashing light over there. As I said, that's where that flashing light is, that truck. Although to truthfully be told, it looks like it might be open now. But that was closed a moment ago. Story of my life. There's a number I've never seen on Ruby before. 1%. Ooh. That's typical territory for Kyle, maybe, but for Don Miller, that's like not something I see. But I am right at the traffic lights, superchargers right there in that parking lot of the DoubleTree. It's official, 1%. And distance, 4 miles it says. So let's see what we get from a supercharger point of view here. As you can see, 4 miles. All right, there she goes, starting to ramp up. Oh, we got all the way down to 3 miles. It said something about the air conditioning was going to be low. It says battery is very low, heating and air conditioning reduced. So we're at 59 kilowatts here. I don't know how fast it's going to ramp up. We'll find out. $159 kilowatts. If it doesn't if it doesn't ramp up here, I will move. I'm at I think I'm at 4B. Yes, I am absolutely at 4B. I think it you know, this is not something we've done with Ruby. This is the lowest. I think 3% was the lowest I've ever gotten before. This time you know, down to 1%, charging at 60 kilowatts, 61. It ought to start ramping up here a little bit. Come on now. Although I have to say it's 5:30 in the afternoon. Not that there would be not a lot of energy available. So she just turned yellow. She's no longer red. So 96 kilowatts, though. That ain't really that good. So a Model 3 and a Model S have come in. We're spaced properly. Nobody's stealing each other's charge or anything. The fans on Ruby are definitely speeding up, so I don't understand why we're charging, not hitting something better than 94 kilowatts. I mean, not that 94 is bad, but you know, when you're used to seeing 120 or better, you know, it depends on how long it stays 94. Hopefully, well, now 93, so you don't want to see it go that direction. I don't know what's going on here. I'm a little disappointed. Now, I was upset. Now I'm epileptic. It's gone down to 74 kilowatts. I don't understand. I'm like, I guess at this point I can't do anything. I can't move because you know, there's 4 superchargers. There's 8 supercharger or 4 cabinets, so
everybody's on a cabinet at this point, so there's no available cabinet to swap to. I guess I could at least stop charging and plug back in, and I think I might do that and see if that helps before somebody else gets here. I don't see another Tesla coming. Unplugged and plugged back in. I mean, can't do any worse than 74 kilowatts. Well, I guess I lied. 47 kilowatts now, so maybe I screwed that up. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, that's terrible. I guess I could charge enough to get to Raleigh. I mean, at this rate, I'll think about that. Let's see. Well, here we go. I can't ever tell how much range. This is where I don't like.
Is yours charging?
Yeah, it's really slow.
My God, it says it's going to take an hour and a half for mine.
Okay, well that makes me feel better. I'm charged. I have seen 96, but
I'm getting 54 miles an hour.
I'm up to 70. It's going up right now. That's encouraging. There was nobody here when I came up. I'm used to getting 147, 148.
Yeah.
And this is what I was getting a while ago. It had got as high as 96 and it fell down to 76. And I said, oh, well, let me unplug and replug. Maybe it'll do something. So, yeah, I'm back to where I was. So, yeah, at this point,
we're not on the same.
No, we're not. We're
not on the same area.
We're doing everything correctly. It's just slow.
It's just not working.
It's just not working. It could be. It's 5:30, and they may be limiting the charge. Yeah. So the Model 3 owner says that you're charging at what? 70. He's slow too. The Model 3 owner is slow. I'm at 76 now.
It's 47 miles an hour right now.
Yeah. Wow. I'm doing 228 miles an hour.
47.
Yeah, I'm doing 228. So I'm doing a little better than
I'll
you.
be here for 2 days.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much I'm going to charge. I've got to go to Fuquay.
I just wanted to get about 50 miles on it just to get a little charge.
Yeah, 71. I got 71 miles to get home. I was putting it on percentage here, but I hate percentages. I have to work in miles. So I got 57 miles. I'll probably charge up to just over 100 and go, because I'm like you. I don't want to sit here all day. Oh, I may be bad, but I ain't that bad. 19 kilowatts. Ugh.
Be so slow.
Welcome home, Donnie.
Yep, good to be home. It was a fun day. Very exciting in some ways. Ruby was the absolute spectacular splash of the energy conference they had up there. They had school groups, and they also had school teachers. As in, there were a lot of school teachers. I must have talked to a group. They were all wearing red t-shirts, the school teachers. And then there were county commissioners and various different people, lawyers, a couple lawyers I talked to.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what their exact function were, but they were all wearing suit and ties and very articulate and stuff like that. One gentleman, he has a daughter who lives in California, and so he had visited the Tesla showroom. That the daughter wants to get a Tesla, so he knew quite a bit about it. So this was the first time he was actually really up close. He could crawl over the car. He had seen one before.
I was going to say, did you sell a Tesla today, Donnie?
I'm not exaggerating. I had at least 5 people ask me if I worked for Tesla. And I just said, no, I'm a big, obviously a big fan, enthusiast of Tesla and electric cars. And I was able to talk to people and say that, electric cars are good enough now. Will it be getting better in the future? Absolutely. But the cars are good enough now. If you have a place to charge them at home, you really should consider one. You don't have to get one, but you ought to go look at electric cars if you're going to buy a new car here in the next few months or so. and people understood that. You know, it's I helped people understand that you don't have to charge to 100%. That's one of the things that people like, well, how long does it take to fully charge? It's like, well, you know, I've only fully charged. I've had the car over 2 years. I think I've fully charged like 3 times. So I don't really recollect, because you don't have to charge it to fully all the time. And that, really? And so it was that kind of reaction. So I was able to communicate to people, you know, supercharges, there's so many superchargers now, 30-minute, maybe 40 at the outside.
To get to the next one.
Get to the next one that the car tells you. I said the only way that you're going to run out of range is you choose to ignore what the computer tells you. In other words, if you're a person who doesn't follow directions, you probably don't need to drive an electric car. If you're going to just wing it, you know, and not listen to what the car says, then yeah, maybe you're not, electric car is not for you. Go wing it in a gas car.
Well, you can wing it if you got money for a tow to a supercharger, or you're under 50K, I guess. A couple times a year, Tesla will move you.
A lot of people were very surprised at the self-driving and how far it's come, because basically today I got on at Garner on the on-ramp, and I put it on autopilot, and it navigated all the way to Halifax. And that,
I know you fussed at her a few times, though.
Well, sure I did.
Yeah, about passing other cars on the freeway. I know you fussed at her.
I did, but she basically, she took all the turns. She did everything she was supposed to do. She did a great job.
Apparently, some early access person put out a long video on V10 about how great full self-driving autopilot has improved in that release. I'm getting a little tired of these people that signed a disclosure putting that out there. I won't read I don't want to know any more details, because I don't want to help. I don't want to cause people to do that.
Well, that
makes me mad.
The only thing I noticed this time that I felt like was different was in traffic aware. When I was in autopilot with traffic aware cruise controls, obviously, and I had my cruise set for 75. Before there was any indication on the operator console instrument cluster, she would already be turning on the turn signal. Of course, these roads were very flat and there wasn't a lot of elevation change. So she was had good visibility. The radar had good visibility down, and would see the car or truck or whatever was in front of me long before the camera did, and would actually turn on the signal and move over. So I wasn't slowing down to 73 or 72 before it decides, oh, I need to get over. Now she did do that 72 cent, but that was basically when the cars were very tight, more traffic, more curvy, but several parts so that it was nice, flat, and straight. And I was very pleased with that.
You said to me when we were talking that some people commented on your unicycle. The last minute decision to throw it in the car this morning with the stand, you could empty the frunk so people could still appreciate the frunk.
That's right. And I got a lot of comments on the unicycle. I rode it a couple times, just buzzed around just so people would get the idea, because they didn't understand. Where do you sit on it? You know, it didn't click until I actually demonstrated it, and then they were all very much amazed. Of course, there were a lot of young teenagers, and they wanted to ride, and I told them no.
Can't do that. Yeah.
I said it's.
You'd have to give a drop of blood, have both parents consent, prove your health insurance.
Pretty much, that's right. So, several of the kids said they had ridden scooters, electric scooter. A couple kids said something about that board. What was that?
The long board?
No,
Atom long.
No, the thing, the boards that were catching on fire, the two-wheel things, hoverboards. Hoverboards. I couldn't remember the couple of them.
Segway.
Yeah,
not
the inexpensive
Segway.
Segways.
Yeah.
Yes. And I said, well, this is very similar, because they understood that you lean forward and lean back. But I said the difference between this one is to turn. This one you have to you just lean, and it turns when you lean, and so you have to keep your balance side to side. Where the hoverboard, to turn, you kind of like push one wheel back and one foot forward, 1 foot back, which I guess is kind of hard. But anyway, I would tell you that Ruby. The thing I want to say, I did the light show several times, and it had huge. I mean, one crowd, I'm going to say close to 50 people were around. And they were
Wow.
all very amazed at the light show. And everybody missed you, Marianne. They all said, "Where's Marianne and Johnny?" Well, I'm here. Where's Marianne and Johnny? Well, I'm here. From well, that's okay.
Yeah, well, I know they really appreciated you going up there. They were pouty about the fact that we might not be able to work it out.
There were 3 Model 3s up there.
Oh, okay, so there were some other Teslas.
And I don't think there was a RAV4 EV.
Okay, but it wasn't the gentleman that's shown up with it before?
Yeah, no, same guy.
Oh, same guy, okay, yeah.
And, but that was, I didn't remember, there was no other cars. And I would tell you, this is, of all the events we've went up there, this one was by far the most people.
Well,
When
I know that
got
makes
there, the parking lot, I had to wiggle around.
Did they have a space just reserved for
Not
Ruby?
really, I just made one for
Okay.
me.
Yeah, well, they've tried to put us right out front
Right.
in a place of honor, but it's gravel there and it's just not a good spot.
Right. And I was able to clean her up and get her all shiny before a lot of people came up and saw her.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that it was worth, not that we wouldn't have wanted to let the kids that have seen the car before be there for them, but I'm glad to hear that there were some new people that had never seen Ruby before that really made it worth you driving basically to Virginia and back today, because it's just 7 miles like shy of the Virginia border up there. And, and Don had some supercharger fun tonight.
Yeah.
That's be in a separate video.
Yeah.